back at the edge of everything. And conspiracies, wow, do we have them? Maybe more than we know, or maybe we can begin to know. The latest thing that I know of, and that I talked about in a previous show, was the Bill Gates involvement with Epstein, and why did his wife, after two or three children that he's got, suddenly decide to divorce him? Maybe she didn't know the details around his relationship with Epstein and his life and or his death. Interesting point. But one of the richest men in the world, founder of Microsoft, involvement with Epstein, perhaps with sex trafficking and all the worst elements, causing his wife to want to be separated entirely, including her children, from Bill Gates. Not the wonderkind that people thought he was. Maybe. It's in doubt. So, the conspiracy of Epstein, is he really dead? Or did he just buy his way out? We've talked about this in past shows. How did he hang himself from the back end of a 2 foot high bedstead? Or did somebody hang him? Or did he die at all? Or did they put a homeless person in his place? Because I've gone down the street and seen some homeless people could be body doubles for Epstein, no problem. So that's been said before as well by several people. So we now have a suicide by the father, I think, of Maxwell. Alex, come in on this a little bit. What's the story? My producer's out there. He knows a little bit about this. I want his thoughts on this.
All right, so Robert Maxwell, he's very interesting story. He goes out on his yacht by himself, and it's supposedly his favorite yacht called the Ghislaine, named after his daughter. And he just disappears. And then they say he killed himself or something happened. He had a heart attack. Nobody knows why or what happened. His Ghislaine was murdered.
Was there a body at all involved in that?
Yeah, there was a body found. They shipped it to Israel and did a funeral. A real show to really distract people of everything. But the real true story of all this is why would you do that? Why would you fake death? He stole $1 billion of his employees' pensions money. So when that story came out, like literally a week after he died, basically the story came out. So the footage of him on the yacht is something everyone should look up, because he's the one of the most richest men in the world, most calmest guy in the yacht, enjoying his rich life by himself. Now, why would somebody do that?
Well, but maybe since they shipped his body to Israel, it would be another way to buy your way out of being alive and change your name and passport and all the rest, and continue to live out of where you were before, but alive, not dead. Epstein the same way. Some people believe that he's been parked and somewhere in the Caymans, or not the Caymans, excuse me, somewhere in Abu Dhabi, near Saudi Arabia.
Also, can I say this? The reason why Ghislaine knows Epstein is because when Robert died, her dad died, they had to sell everything. It was a full shame for her. She went basically broke for what she was. She went from a billionaire to just a couple $1 million in the bank.
Well, and now she's about to be tried out in the open. And then a similar kind of thing, but not really related as close to this, would be the killing of the dying or the maybe suicide of this cyber character, McAfee, or what's his name?
John McAfee. So we got 3 billionaires ready to go to prison for the rest of their lives, and all of a sudden they just commit suicide.
That is the fact that they could have ended up incarcerated and struggling to get out. The easy way is to fake your death and disappear and live a happy life somewhere else with a different name and whatever, with all the money you still have. And you can hide it so many ways, offshore, what have you. Interesting, but that's for us, people that are conspiracy buffs, or is it? That's the doubt. I mean, Epstein's death, when I saw him laying flat, I have seen homeless people who look just exactly like him. 50 years old, and you're grizzled, and you've been on the street, and you're tanned and what have you from too much sun, what have you, and you die. Body could be switched. Who would know the difference? The guards were gone for 2 hours. They'd gone to sleep. They pardoned the guards and the Epstein situation.
Of course, they did. You know, it's all botched. They were paid off. Everybody was paid off. Hey, look, guards, here's a couple $1 million, and you're gonna be pardoned. Don't worry.
So that's what
There
I
was no
think.
cameras, Augie. The question is, why were there no freaking camera footage? Why on those days the camera footage was turned off? It's no It's no coincidence. It was purposely turned off.
Well, if it's turned off and it's missing, and the absence of the guards is missing, they like to suggest that he committed suicide in their absence, or was he murdered in their absence, or what, or did he die at all, or did they bring a body in, lay it down where he was that had the neck broken, so that autopsy would show a broken neck, and you got a dead body. That's enough.
So,
But
so
like,
what I think is the cause of death of what they're trying to sell to the public is the cause of death of these billionaires is the negligence of the correctional officers.
I'm sorry.
They're what they're trying to portray to the public, the people who conspired all this, is that the reason why Epstein, all these people died, these billionaires died, is because of the negligence of the security officer.
They need a fall guy. Yeah, they'll always dump it on the guards or someone like that.
The
But
easiest one, the low income workers.
people who can't defend themselves, they get a chunk of money. It goes into a trust for them, a hidden trust, and they can get into the trust at any point, and they have to remain silent, or the money dries up on them. So
Yep.
it's an easy way to shut people up, and so is that what happened? Who knows? But there's clearly complicity from way up and high. Who affiliated with Epstein? The richest people. If Gates isn't one of those, and people in between Gates and on down to Trump, and Trump was involved also, by the way. He's in one of the videotapes on a plane saying, "Aren't they kind of young?" Well, his wife was kind of young, from Czechoslovakia or wherever she's from in the eastern part of Europe. So he wasn't so unused. And Trump even said he could date his daughter. That's what he said. So you have these guys with the attitude of these very young kids having sex with them pretty freely, and a lot of other people with them. Then Epstein it was alleged and believed that Epstein took bribes in the way of property as instead of money. It's easier to hide property. All you have to do is deed it over the person. You don't have to give them any cash. You say, "You give me $10, you got this property. You bought it for $10. What a steal!" No tax complications, not enough money involved, and you gain an island. Oh, I want a building in Manhattan, a very expensive townhouse or something like that. Sign the deed over, I get the property, don't give me money. And suddenly Epstein has all this property because he's blackmailing people into giving up their property as payment. That's what I truly believe happened. It has no tax consequences whatsoever. And so the person at the other end will take a loss selling the property too cheaply. You don't gain anything but the property, so there's no tax capital gains for you. If had you gotten money, you'd have to pay capital gains. Money's the problem. Just trade the property directly. In the case of Miss Blackwell's father, why do they think he was killed or hiding out? He's going to go to jail. What was his problem, Alec?
So he stole $1 billion, or close to, it was like 900 million, of all his workers' pension money. He had a big business in the media. He was a media giant. He
He
was
stole he stole pension money from his workers. Was that it?
yes, and it was about to come out. It was about to come out.
He was
And,
he was going to go to jail as Epstein was going to go to jail. What about McAfee? The same thing?
yeah, McAfee was the same. The same. It was hours after he was approved to be extradited to the United States, and he said a couple of days before, "If I get extradited to the United States, I will be in prison forever. They will not let me out. They will make an example out of me."
So here we have three major moneyed people either dying unusually or not dying at all. That's your choice. You have the money. We can conceal your death a number of ways. Take your pick. What are you going to do? Gee, I think if I had that kind of option, I'd say stay alive and live somewhere else under an assumed name and with a different kind of trust of money. Lots of
It,
answers for people who have money. For you and me, the schmucks, we just have to plug along, get by anyway, and enjoy these speculations, this conspiratorial nonsense that we go through. But is it nonsense, or is it more likely than not? I want to thank you for watching, and surprise yourself. Go to YouTube. You can stream onto it, as I did the other evening with somebody who was did it with her phone. Picked up about 10 different shows, which were ours. One other person had the name Augi scrawled on his show, and among all the rest that were mine shows that I had done. So the older shows, some of them may not apply to anything. You can see the productions of a regular studio theater, how well or poorly I do in those particular situations. And doing this on Skype, which is probably the least desirable way to do a show. But I want to thank you for watching and stream on to the edge anytime you can. And YouTube has us. We have a large channel to watch. Enjoy those different things where you can, and tell us what you think. I want to thank you, Alex, for participating in the show, helping so much. Some of these details about these escapees from punishment, keeping their money at the same time. Banditos, Epstein, uh, Maxwell's father, and McAfee, all banditos. They're smiling and happy, living in another world, private and with a different name, but they have all of what they need. And thank you again. Please watch, stream on. See you later.
I want to put a bonus part of the show. This is a bonus part of Augie and the Edge.
Okay.
I wanted you to just know the most famous show in the world is called Breaking Bad, and in one part of the show, there's a guy you can pay off, and he fakes your death, fakes everything, gives you a clean social security number, clean life, and that's how the show ends.
Oh, that's fine. Sure.
And that's what really reminded me of this show that you just made today.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you're so rich you could just pay your way out of everything, huh?
That's called payout payola.
Thanks for that, Augie.
All right.